Hello, everybody. I'm Chloe, and this is episode 1 of Chat GPA, a podcast dedicated to talking about real-life college student mental health care, coming from a fellow college student. I'm a senior majoring in biology at Texas A&M, and I'm also in the University Honors Program. I have definitely been there whenever it comes to mental health as a college student. And during my college experience, I've struggled with anxiety and depression and PTSD, and there's just a lot whenever it comes to being a college student and going to college. And part of being a college student is our huge to-do lists. We have classes and exams, and a lot of us have part-time jobs. We're busy, and something that gets impacted a lot by our busy college schedule is our sleep. And that's actually what I'd like to talk with you guys about today, because it is important. That's something I've learned the hard way in college too, is exactly how important sleep is to classes and grades, but also just overall well-being and how you feel, how happy you feel. And there's so many of us that don't get enough sleep. It's one of those things that's kind of associated with being a college student, is just being exhausted all the time. And actually, about 70% of college students don't get enough sleep. That's a lot. That is a lot of poor, tired college students walking around campus, not exactly there because they really need to take a nap. And college students actually get an average of about 6.5 hours of sleep per night, which is not that great. It's usually recommended for adults to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, and for teenagers to get 10. So we need a lot of sleep, and I actually want to talk about that, of why sleep is important for us, and why getting enough sleep is important for both your GPA and your overall happiness. So why is not getting enough sleep and feeling tired and instead just getting that cup of coffee in the morning a bad thing? I mean, a lot of the times we stay up or trade our sleep so we can do well in our classes. Like, we have an essay due at 11:59 p.m. and we still have 3 pages to go, and we really need a good grade on that assignment. Or maybe you have a really big important exam the next day, like a really scary physics exam, and you feel behind. You don't feel like you know the material all that well, so you stay up and study to make sure you go over everything. And so a lot of the time we think that staying up or studying later is actually a good thing whenever it comes to our grades, but it's actually really the opposite. So let's talk about what sleep is, what it really is, and how it impacts our brain, because, well, we kind of need that to be a college student and go to class and to learn. That's why we're all here in college, to get that degree we're chasing. And so sleep is not only resting our body, healing, but it's also resting and healing our brains. Whenever we sleep, our short-term memories of today, like what we learned in class or what homework we did or what did we do while we were hanging out with our friends, that gets stored into our long-term memory. That's the part of your memory you need so you can do well on exams and remember the information you learned that day for later. And I actually really understand that. Just remember the last night of just bad sleep you had. And sometimes you're kind of wandering into the kitchen, and then you forget while you're in there, so you leave the room, and then you remember, oh shoot, I went in the kitchen to go grab a snack, and then you walk back in there and forget again. That's totally not speaking from experience. That's why you can't remember things whenever you don't sleep very well, because your brain didn't have enough time to reset itself so you can actually function the next day. And our brains are only kind of important. We only use it a little bit every day, right? But seriously, sleep really is important for how our brain works. Like, if we don't get enough sleep, our attention spans shrink. We can't concentrate. It's really hard to make decisions about things. And most importantly for our classes and our GPAs, it causes a lot of difficulties with learning and problem solving. And whenever we're having problems with learning, that absolutely affects our GPAs. Like, students who pull all-nighters and stay up all night and don't get enough sleep before an exam are actually more likely to have a lower GPA than students who don't. And I actually really experienced that. Whenever I was a freshman and sophomore, I liked to stay up late to do my homework. It felt like, I was in the zone. I could get some things done. But I'd stay up late and I wouldn't get enough sleep. And before exams, I'd stay up extra late because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I need to know for this exam. And oh my gosh, I'm going to fail, and all that anxiety and anxiety thoughts. And so I'd stay up late. And then what happened to me is whenever I'd stay up late for an exam, I'd actually forget. Well, first, I just wouldn't have learned anything in the time I spent studying instead of sleeping. I just didn't learn a single thing. And also, whenever I did that, I forgot what I already learned from other classes or other times I've studied. And I've stared at questions like, I absolutely know this question, but I just can't think of it. And so it really does. I very highly recommend and am begging you to not pull all-nighters. If you actually, even if you're really anxious the night before an exam or the night before a big presentation, you do so much better if you get enough sleep and study or prepare less than if you stay up late or stay up all night studying and preparing. And so, if you really want to do well on that exam or project, I really recommend getting enough sleep the night before, even a little extra if you can spare it. Because then, even if you study less or miss a topic whenever you're studying, you can go into the exam and remember what you already know. But if you do run into something you're not familiar with, you have a much better chance of being able to figure it out with an awake, happy, healthy brain than a brain that's just dragging itself along and barely able to read the words. So, not sleeping well or staying up too late or pulling all-nighters really can affect your classes more than you'd ever expect. But there's also a lot more to college life than just the classes, right? I mean, that's important. But sleep is also important for every other part of your life. Like, sleep is absolutely essential for your emotional regulation. Whenever you don't get enough sleep, you feel crabby or kind of short-tempered. I know I am. Your body actually biologically is not happy. It's not able to handle your emotions nearly as well as whenever you're well rested. Bad sleep can cause mood swings, crabbiness, and a much higher stress response, which basically means that you react and feel so much more stress to something than if the same thing happened whenever you had enough sleep, whenever you don't feel tired. So sleep is actually one of the things I have to prioritize myself whenever I deal with my anxiety or depression, or PTSD triggers, because that's all really hard on your emotional system. And I've learned that if I don't get enough sleep, I am so much more anxious and stressed, and I just can't handle life nearly as well. I get burnout so much faster. And burnout is not fun, guys. And it takes some practice being able to balance your sleep that you need with your classes and having a social life, because that's important and that's fun. You need friends and you need to hang out with your friends and go out and have dinners and hang out and maybe even laugh until 2 a.m. sometimes. It's just, and nights like that happen where you just don't get enough sleep that night. But the most important thing is getting enough sleep regularly. There's actually something called sleep debt. It's where, well, actually, let me say it like this. It's like whenever you lose sleep or you don't get enough sleep that night, you're using your body's credit card for that and you withdraw. And the next night you don't get enough sleep, you withdraw again. And the next night you don't get enough sleep, you withdraw again. And so the more sleep you don't get, the more you have to pay back. You have to pay back all that you withdrew on that card. And so after not sleeping for a while, and then getting one good night's sleep where you finally do get enough sleep, you might actually feel worse the next day. I know a lot of my friends have told me that they just avoid getting that one night of good sleep because they feel so much worse the next day. But that's because of sleep debt. Their bodies are still in debt and still needing more sleep to feel normal again. It just takes time for your body to cancel out that sleep debt that you accumulate whenever you don't get enough sleep or you're really low on sleep for a month because of finals. It takes a long time to recover from that. And that's why sleep is one of the most important and also most neglected things in college student life. And so now we know why sleep is important and the bad things that happen if we don't get enough sleep. But how do we actually do that as college students? I mean, I talked about earlier, we're busy, we're stressed, we have really long to-do lists. And so I learned some things that work for me, and hopefully they work for you too. The whole thing about taking care of your mental health is that it depends on you and who you are. It changes from person to person about what the best strategies are. Or if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. You can try something else. But the important thing is finding something that works for you and with your schedule. So, one of the things that actually helped me sleep better and take care of myself is understanding that being able to sleep has to do with your body and your mind. Both need to be ready to go to sleep. Something that's absolutely essential to me is having time to wind down before bed. Just taking 15 to 30 minutes to relax and do something offline. I say it's essential for me because because doing that really makes a huge impact on my sleep. I'm able to go to sleep so much faster, and I get better quality of sleep too. So I really do recommend taking a little bit of time at night before you go to bed just to relax. You can color. I've got some coloring books. You can color, you can scribble or draw. You don't have to be good at drawing. That's the fun part of this. You don't have to be good at all. You just have to scribble lines and curly cues and squares or triangles or lines. Or if you're feeling kind of upset that day, you scribble hard and turn the whole paper black with ink. It's however you want to do it. There's a lot of different things that you can do to just relax and calm your body down and your mind down at night. And having an offline hobby helps with that too. Like, personally, I like to crochet, and I've crocheted some blankets. I'm actually working on learning how to do stuffed animals, which is really fun. But that's something offline that helps me release my anxiety and help me feel like I can breathe a little easier. And with the wind down time, I am kind of stressing the offline part of it. Like, going on your phone and scrolling through TikTok doesn't really count. because your phone gives off blue light. And blue light is a specific kind of light that electronics give off, like your phone or TV, even artificial like LED lights. This type of light actually affects your circadian rhythm, which is your body's like wake up and sleep cycle. It's how your body knows, oh, I should be awake now, or oh, I need to go to sleep now. And blue light triggers your body to think, oh, I need to be awake now. And so whenever you scroll on your phone or watch TV too close to whenever you want to go to bed, your body still thinks it's daytime. So it's really hard to fall asleep because your body's in I need to be awake mode. So because of this, experts recommend that you don't have blue light 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. And that's one of the pieces of advice that I was like, so how am I going to put that into my schedule? Because that is kind of hard to do. Well, a workaround around that I do is getting a pair of blue light blocking glasses. It's these, you can search for it on Amazon, and you can get a pair that's not super expensive. There's really expensive pairs, but you don't have to get the most expensive for it to work. They're glasses that can be orange or red tinted that block blue light specifically. And if you put those on 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, even 1 hour, even 30 minutes, the most you can do will help you. But if you wear your blue light blocking glasses, your body will shift into, okay, it's time to sleep now, and your body will be ready for you to sleep so you're not sitting awake in bed staring at the ceiling. And so, along with blue light, caffeine can also trigger your body to be like, okay, I need to be awake now. Which is a good thing, especially in the morning whenever you're tired, and you need to wake up, or you really need your brain to really work for something. Like you have a big presentation later, and you know you want to be awake. And personally, I love coffee. It is my favorite drink in the whole wide world. It tastes wonderful. It tastes wonderful black with a little bit of sugar in it. And it's just wonderful. And let me tell you, I love Starbucks. But the thing is with coffee is it really does affect your sleep. And I know that. I actually had to quit drinking coffee myself because I'm pretty sensitive to coffee, and I cannot sleep well if I drink coffee that day. But a lot of people aren't as sensitive to coffee as me. But even if you're not coffee sensitive, drinking coffee or having any sort of caffeinated tea, if that's your thing, in the afternoon and night can trick your body into thinking it needs to be awake whenever you want to sleep. And actually, caffeine impacts you a lot longer than you might think, because maybe like a few hours after that cup of coffee, the caffeine awakeness, the jitters wear off, and you feel kind of tired again. But actually, caffeine might not leave your body until 10 hours later. Your body's actually pretty slow to get it out of your system. So even if you're not really feeling the effects of it, your body is. So if you still have caffeine in your system whenever you're trying to go to bed, your body is going to think it still needs to be awake, and you're going to have some trouble falling asleep. There's actually a lot of advice out there with sleep, and I could actually talk for hours about this. This is something I have a lot of feelings about because of how important and how much getting good sleep regularly has changed my life. It's changed how I feel and changed how I think and how well I do in my classes. I do so much better whenever I get sleep regularly, guys. It's really a massive change. Because for my first at least 2 years of college, I did not take care of my sleep. And then I started sleeping a little more. And it has really done so much good for me. And so I highly recommend trying to get the best sleep you can, whatever it looks like for you. And there's so much more advice. Like, I'm actually starting to run out of time. But there's so much advice out there, like about it's recommended to nap for less than an hour and before 3 p.m. so your body is ready to sleep again on time. Or keeping a regular sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up around the same time every day, including weekends. It's actually really interesting that if someone gets low sleep during the week and then sleeps a lot on the weekend and makes up for it, people who do that are actually more likely to do badly in class and get lower grades. But anyway, there's just so much out there, and if you're interested, I highly recommend taking a little bit of time looking at some things, trying some things out. And if you do have a lot of problems sleeping, or you can't seem to calm down at night, you're too anxious, or even if you feel so tired and you just can't fall asleep, I do recommend going to go talk to someone about it to try and get some help, because insomnia is not fun, guys. Your brain hates it, your body hates it. Getting sleep's important. And at Texas A&M, we have the University Health Services, which is a department on campus where their whole focus is student health. And if you're an Aggie like me, whoop, then we have the CAPS office, which kind of works like in-person therapy, where you can make an appointment and where you can talk with someone about what's bothering you. And I personally go. There's no shame in it, I promise. It actually helps a lot, let me tell you. But if you really do have persistent sleep problems, I really do highly recommend getting some talking to someone who really knows how to help, like therapists and things, because, disclaimer, I'm just a student, and I'm a college student I'm a senior now, so I've been here and done this for 4 years, and so I know things that I've learned and that works for me. But talking to a counselor or therapist really can help get some personalized help. I can't recommend it enough. And if you're not at Texas A&M, your university or college or wherever you are, I'm sure they have something, or at least some resources for you to find something locally, some help locally. And actually, before I forget, there's, make sure to check out my full disclaimer in the description. And if you're interested, I'll actually post the websites and links where I found all this information if you're interested and want to read up on it. Like, I'm a bit of a nerd. I like knowing the science behind everything and behind why blue light is actually bad for sleep and why it keeps our bodies awake. It's really interesting to me. So if you're interested, check out the description or show notes. I'm not really sure how this works yet. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much for listening. I'm really excited you're here. And so before we go and get back to our day, let's just take a deep breath in. And a long, slow, deep breath out. And you got this. Go tackle today. I really believe in you. And I'll talk with you guys again next time. Bye.